Welcome to this short video introduction of the Nixxis Contact Suite. Nixxis is a company specialized in the development of software solutions to structure, organize and optimize all your customer interactions. Today we will take a closer look at the different possibilities to configure the operations of your customer contact center. In this second video on the administrator module, we will see how to configure campaigns, activities and queues. In the first video, we saw how to configure agents, skills and teams. Now we are going to look into a central and powerful piece of the Nixxis Contact Suite, the campaign management. One of the major differences between the Nixxis Contact Suite campaign management and the traditional systems is the fact that a campaign in the Nixxis system is composed of an unlimited number of activities. Each activity can be workflow oriented and be conducted on any of the system communication channels, being voice, mails, chat, SMS or social media. The two major families of activities are inbound when interactions are received by the systems and outbound when they are interactions generated by the systems. But before looking into details into the activities, let's have a view on the general setup of campaigns. Under the General tab, a series of context information can be entered, like the fact that the whole campaign needs to be recorded or not, that it uses a specific context for appointments, and the numbering format. In the Field tab, the admin can define the specific database format that will be used through all activities of this campaign. So, no need to do various exports or imports of data between several activities of the same campaign. This saves a lot of time and avoids major mistakes. For this example, we have defined a very simple database format. Under the Qualification tab, the admin will specify the expected outcome after each activity, and that will eventually define the following activity to be generated. A list of all the prompts, music or voice messages that will be played during this campaign is also available under a specific tab. Finally, for email, chat or social medias, the admin can enter a series of standard text to be used by the agents, as well as a list of standard attachments that can be sent to customers. All texts, prompts and attachments can be viewed and edited straight into the Nixxis Contact Suite. Let's now take a closer look at each activity. For this demonstration campaign, a certain number of activities have been defined both in inbound and in outbound. If we take a closer look at the inbound voice activity, we can see that this activity is actually running. This means that at this point of time the system is taking calls. Any changes needs to be committed before it influences the production flow. Next to the destination ID of this inbound activity, we can allocate all the incoming interactions to a specific queue in the system. Further, we can specify a number of specific informations like the use of a planning, what to do in case no agents are available, or if the preferred agent functions need to be activated for this activity and for how long. Then, we can indicate which kind of scripts needs to be used, if any, and if callback activities need to be forced to a specific outbound activity. Finally, further recording, number of lines used and initial profit parameters can be specified at the activity level. Under the Call Flow tab, you will basically decide what happens between the interactions with the agent. The preprocessor that is used, generally an interactive voice response system or an IVR, the waiting music and the post-processor that can also be an IVR. For example, to ask if the call has given entire satisfactions to your customers. Under the Skills tab, you will find back all the skills that we created in the first video together with the double slider, allowing you to define the minimum level the agent needs to have to take the call, but also the maximum from which the system will look to find the most suitable agent first. An identical logic applies for the languages. In the Qualification section, you will find back all the qualifications we just defined for this campaign, and at this level you can make them mandatory for this activity. Finally, a list of available prompts for this specific activity is displayed here. Chat, email and social media inbound activities have a somewhat similar logic and can be configured with the same ease as the inbound voice activity we just saw. For the outbound activities, things are looking quite similar in terms of system logic. Under the General tab next to the outbound call ID, ring time, queue and script information, the admin can specify specific dialing mode. One of the major 8 dialing modes can be selected for each activities, including the highly efficient predictive mode. Nixxis has one of the best predictive dialers in the world. Further, the answering machine detection or AMD settings are indicated and carrier and callback rules are defined. Finally, specific recording, callbacks and planning rules can be used here down to the activity levels. One of the major differences between outbound and inbound activities is that outbound requires a database of targeted customers to start interacting with them. We will see here how easy it is to add those to the campaign database. After clicking on the data management icon in the control section, the wizard proposes to perform several tasks. After selecting the Add Data option, the user can simply indicate the Excel or CSV file containing the data for import. The admin then selects the sheet he wants to import, and there you go. All the available fields are then shown on the next page. A quick check can verify that the import happened in a good way, and then clicking next, the admin can just start mapping the fields of the imported file with the ones of the campaign database which is defined previously. At this point, you can also decide to create new fields that were maybe forgotten when the initial campaign database was created. Or you simply import the data into one of the existing fields by matching the records. You can then import the data for a specific activity and indicate if preferred agents are required to manage those records. Finally, you can specify the operations that need to be performed on the phone numbers, like removing non-numeric characters or prefixes. The system then shows you the changes it is going to bring to phone numbers, and there you go, you can import your data. Very easy, isn't it? The 2 next tabs in the outbound call activity allows you to sort and filter records according to your specific rules. There also a wizard is there to help, including additional sorting and filter rules. The final tab is just like the inbound section. It lets you define the qualifications that are applicable for that specific activity. One last section we would like to touch in this video on the administrator module is the queue section. There also, the wizard helps you set up your queues easily. Under the Teams tab, you will be able to allocate several teams to that specific queues, and this using again your slider in a 0 to 100 allocation proportion. Several teams can treat the same queue, and this at different affectation level. One very specific function that can be allocated to each queue is the profit evaluation function. There, when you select the function, the system proposes you a graphical interface that lets you define the profit profile of that specific queue. This means that, based on the cost factor of each team and the inbound activity initial profit value, you can specify how the value of each call evolves when they are placed into the queues. The system then computes the most appropriate allocation of resources between the teams you have, the inbound activities that are running, and the profit profile of each queue in order to maximize the profit of your customer interaction center. This function is really unique and allows our Nixxis Contact Suite customers to improve the profitability of their operations by 15 to 20%. So, this was a quick overview on the different possibilities of the Nixxis Contact Suite administrator modules. We thank you for watching and hope that you will also check our other videos. Videos are available to give you an introduction to the Nixxis Contact Suite agent interface, on the Supervisor interface, on how you can listen to recorded conversations, and on the reporting possibilities of the Nixxis Contact Suite. Do not hesitate to call or ask should you have any questions. Thank you and goodbye.